Hello and welcome to Fish Fingers and Custard Explosion OX After Show, where we break down and discuss every episode of Doctor Who. This week, it is The Reality War, written by Russell T Davies, directed by Alex Pillai. Synopsis of which is: spell rages across the skies as the Unholy Trinity unleash their deadly ambition. The Doctor, Belinda and Ruby have to risk everything in their quest to save one innocent life. My name's John Blight. Joining me, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, John. Excited to be here because everything's just rosy.
Yep. Good. Yep. Very good. Yep. Cool. What did you make of the season finale and, let's not beat around the bush, the last time we see the 15th Doctor?
I enjoyed the ride. I think maybe it was a little bit rushed. Like everything kind of came together very quickly, and then kind of the explanation for everything came together very quickly. During the episode, I was like, wow, they're really kind of bringing everybody back and tying everything from like these last couple of years together in this one run. You know, it's kind of weird, like considering, you know, it's only 2 seasons and like probably Shooty's going to be here for a long time. And nope. You know, so yeah, I mean, it was fine. It's kind of disappointing that it to a certain degree, it's like a retread of last year's finale where it's a enemy from long ago come back and suddenly the Doctor has to beat some giant CGI creature. You know, but you know, yeah, I think obviously the last few minutes is going to be a shock to everyone. It was cool to see Jodie come back for a bit, like considering that's the character, the version of the Doctor who was not very loved. For the, you know, even though that's the period of time where we covered the Doctor the most, you know. So
when we started the show,
yeah, we're like, yes, new beginning. It's all going to be great, and then it's just bunch of mediocre. So, but yeah, you know, maybe it's best to go out quick, shine bright, and
burn strong,
burn out quickly.
Yeah. I thought it was okay, I guess. Like, sort of what I expect in these finales at this point. Just how much can we throw in the kitchen sink and attempt to make work, I guess. It's just, I would say, it's a weird finale in that, you know, you press play on the episode, hour 5 minutes, you're like, okay, this is a long episode. Let's see how this plays out. And then by the time they wrapped up everything with the Mega, I'm like, oh, we got like...
I accidentally hit pause. I'm like, what? Yeah. It's still like 30 minutes?
Yeah, it's like 30, 35 minutes left at that point. And you're like, what is going on? Like, yeah, so it's just, yeah, a little bit confusing in that regard, to be completely honest. So, I don't know, let's just attempt to skip through the episode a little bit here. So the episode starts, right, whatever. I'm going out of an Ash book. I'm using the short but reliable Wikipedia entry. All right. So this is a lot shorter, but we'll stop at this. The Doctor is rescued by Anita, who pulls him into the Time Hotel as time resets to 23rd of May 2025. So he was falling at the end of last week's episode, falling into what they become to describe later as hell, to the underverse, and now Anita pulls him out. The woman he spent a year with, I think, in that, basically implied in that hotel.
Yeah.
And she's now become the, I guess, general manager of the Time Hotel.
Yes.
Because
which was kind of set up at the end of the Christmas special.
What they leave? It was like a little leave something.
I think he left the key. Like
the key, was it? Yeah, I couldn't remember. I remember they left something. And then it's also sort of implied that she had spent all this time trying to track down the Doctor, the love of her life, and then we see this clip of, I think it was, I don't know, fucking third Doctor was, I can't remember now, to be honest. But then we see she comes across a clip of the Doctor and Rogue dancing, and then she's like,
from last season.
Oh, this Doctor doesn't like girls. You find that? You find the answer?
To what?
Oh, I thought I thought you'd found what he had left, but that's fine. So with the
Found
Anita
what?
I thought you had a look on your face like you'd found the answer to the if you'd found that what she'd left behind for her or whatever was the key or whatever.
No, I couldn't. I wasn't looking for that. I was just looking for like a more extended breakdown. I did love they did the Matt Smith with playing chess with the Cybermen. That was one of the scenes that she walked in on.
Couple little flashback.
Yeah.
Quick here. With Anita's help, the Doctor is able to restore the memories of Unit and Belinda before the Rani reveals that the surviving Time Lords are sterile. So yeah, we had this whole scene where the Doctor. I don't know how they fully explain this, but it's so he goes back. He now has all his memories back. He's out of the reality timeline or reality. He's not under the thing of Conrad anymore, I guess. And then Anita comes in, bursts all these doors open in Unit, and sends shockwaves everywhere. And then she has to keep one door open so no one falls back under the
they
spell.
need to keep real time coming into the world.
Yeah, and they also attempt to somehow explain the whole thing that time keeps resetting itself, but I didn't quite understand what was going on there, to be honest.
No, that room keeps resetting itself because the world keeps ending.
Okay, right. That makes
No. Actually, May 23rd keeps rebooting because that like stretches out time and thus gives Rani the ability to look into the underworld.
Yeah, okay, right. And okay. Because they're still trying to lock onto the symbol.
There's a lot of lore and info dumps in this episode.
Yeah, and yeah, obviously I didn't catch it all.
No.
There's a lot going on.
You know, a lot of this episode, I'm like, man, sucks to have been one of the people who jumped into this one.
Yep.
Season 1 of the new series.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then Rani comes up in the Rani reveals herself in Unit, and she has this whole thing where they go on about Time Lords being sterile and not able to have children anymore. And
listen, we can't have kids, but we can have unprotected sex because we can't recreate it.
Good for them, you know what I mean? Good for them.
Yeah.
And this is all based on the fact that he's going on about how he has a child now, Poppy, because that's born out of...
Yes. So she's been wished into existence.
Yep.
And she is part Time Lord and part human.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're fighting so much to keep her alive all episode. You know? Because she is the first Time Lord since the genocide, I guess. So, yeah, you know, I don't know. Does River count as a Time Lord?
I mean,
does what happened to Devrent's clone daughter?
Yeah, we never. Yeah, well, he married her. That's what.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because it's wrapped up in a way that explains, like, jumping ahead. In a way that it makes it seem like Poppy is not a Time Lord, right?
Yes, I think that's exactly.
Because I thought this entire storyline was kind of setting up, you know, his connection to his granddaughter, which he's been talking about several times. She's appeared in several episodes.
Put a pin in that granddaughter stuff, I'll tell you what.
Okay. You know? So.
Yeah. So she intends to use Omega as a gene bank to rebirth their race. So more or less like, hey, Omega, one of the OG Time Lords, let's get him and use him to make more Time Lords. Basically, it's what's happening, apparently. The Doctor confronts Rani as Omega is released in the form of a massive beast who devours the biogenerated Rani. Mrs. Flood escapes.
Wow.
She lasted long, hey?
Yeah, you know.
1.5 episodes.
Yes.
Nice.
You know.
How do you feel about the Omega? I hated it personally. Like I was like, this is trash. Just because I'm sick of this CGI monster nonsense. And like, this whole thing we were saying last week, I knew nothing about Omega. I watched the 20-minute video that the BBC put up. I went, that seems like an interesting character to introduce. And then I'm watching the episode and they go, here's a giant CGI monster. I went, cool.
Mm-hmm. You know what I thought when I was watching this? I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if Jonathan Groff walked out that door?
Imagine. Yeah, that would be cool, actually. Yeah.
Russell, go back. Just rewrite the episode.
I don't know what, like, especially because I know this, like, you're linking it into the whatever the death monster thing, whatever it was from last season.
Anubis or whatever.
Anubis, yeah.
I can't remember.
It's just like, I know they don't look exactly the same, but it's hard not to be like.
It's kind of the same.
Kind of the same. And it's also really annoying to just be like, the whole explanation of, well, it's basically hell, like version of hell, and he's been living in his own world, so now he looks like this. I'm like, okay, but
yeah,
wasn't old mate a dude in a helmet? Like, what is?
No, but everybody talked about him, so now he became the thing that everybody talked about. You know,
yeah, big baby.
It's like when everybody calls somebody a slut, then they become slut. You know,
Whoa!
That's what the doctor said.
Whoa, what's happening, Randy? Yes, I didn't like this. And
or if everybody calls you a racist, then you're actually a racist.
You know? Whoa! Well, yeah, that's probably true. The Doctor uses the Vindicator to force Omega back into the Underverse. Cool. So Omega's still down there as a CGI waste of ideas. The Vindicator
using a device that we've had foreshadowed through the entire season, but not displayed as being a weapon in any sort of way.
No, they were like, we needed this energy to track Omega, which I was like, this is how this thing links in. I can buy into this. Now they're like, no, but it's also can be used as a weapon. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Also, I didn't like the whole thing of just playing into like weird monster. It's like it comes out, he's like, oh, what are you gonna do now, Omega? I'm gonna eat everyone. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yep. I'm gonna eat all the Time Lords.
Yeah. Congrats. You've already done half the
starving.
job. Like, yes.
You haven't been filled in.
You should have savored that meal if that was your plan. Because you really
just scoff it down because
you're
there is
wasted. Like, you don't understand what's happening up there, mate.
Don't get updates down in the Underworld.
Apparently not.
Which is weird because you would expect a bunch of Time Lords would probably.
I would expect they would have X in hell, to be completely honest. So
yeah.
Like, yeah. Ruby uses Desidrum's power, the baby, to give Conrad a new life and restore reality, but at the cost of Poppy being erased. While the baby god is adopted by Carla Sunday. So in amongst all this, they have this thing where I cannot remember the character's name, but the person from last season,
the old lady who was in charge of the tech company, who brought the god, into existence, or brought Anubis, I think it, whatever
the story was there. Yeah, she now apparently works for Unit as well. Unit just collects fucking. Back Susan something, right?
Susan Twist.
There we go.
No, Susan Triad.
Yeah.
Triad.
Triad.
The actress is Susan Twist.
Oh yeah. Susan
Which
Triad.
is what a twist.
What a twist, yeah. So she builds like a containment cell that they put Poppy into, and Belinda goes in with her and was like, look, if Ruby manages to stop Conrad.
Sorry. Sutek is the name of the giant.
Yeah, there we go. I much prefer Death Thing. But it's just so if she stops the dream world, the wish world of Conrad, and Poppy's an element of that because of this box, she's existing outside of space and time. So once the doll settles and she comes out, Poppy will still be alive, is the go ahead. The hope, yeah. And then the Doctor, when he gets to Ruby, who also, which turns out that the TARDIS, which has been missing for several episodes at this point, was the room that Conrad was in and the whole tower and everything is part of his dream world. And once it all starts evaporating, the Doctor runs into there, and that's also where Ruby is. Anyway, Doctor kisses the baby. His wish for, I guess, it to not be able to wish anymore and end the wish.
No more
world,
wishes.
No more wishes. The baby turns into a normal baby and starts crying. So, yeah, good job there. Yep. So they go give that baby to Ruby's mum,
Adopted mother,
and who looks after children. That's a known thing in the show, of course. So that's where that baby ends up. So she's looking after a powerless god baby. Good for her. And then Poppy, who we thought was all good, and there's a scene where they're in the TARDIS. There's Poppy and Belinda and Ruby, and they're all having a chat and they're talking about all these great adventures that are going to go on. And then out of nowhere, they just.
I wouldn't say out of nowhere. I mean, there was this.
They're folding
They're folding Poppy's jacket, which she's taken off. She's been wearing this entire time, like through all these episodes, no matter where. This jacket, and the jacket continues to get smaller and smaller and smaller.
They keep trying.
Neither of them, Belinda or the Doctor, realizing until it disappears.
But Ruby
just
realizes.
like Poppy.
Ruby's like watching it.
Yeah,
and then Poppy disappears. Now, and then they have no idea. And then Ruby gets really upset. And I think this is probably my favorite scene of the episode, was just this 10 minutes here of Ruby just running around, questioning the Doctor. Also, like where I started getting really annoyed at the Doctor, to be honest, because Ruby's saying, hey, and she's visibly upset. And she's saying, hey, I'm telling you, you had a baby called Poppy. She's disappeared. And then the Doctor's just like, I think you're wrong.
I think your brain is broken.
Yeah, I think your brain's broken. Like, that's just what's happening here. For a split, like for a couple minutes here, I was actually like, I'm getting annoyed at Ncuti's Doctor currently. But I would say this was my favorite, probably 10 minutes episode. I think acting wise, and just added some like real like, oh God, what's happening? Sort of to the episode. I think here. What did you feel about, or try to explain to me? Ruby remembers everything. Ruby remembers Poppy. What's that? Is that because she's a returned wish? Like a returned... Because they point that out, obviously.
Yeah, maybe. Because she made the last wish. Well, I guess she didn't make... She made the last wish except for the Doctor's...
Yeah, she made the penultimate wish?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading into it simply as because she's someone who disappeared from memories and whatever.
Or her snow powers, I don't know.
Yeah, her snow powers, yeah. Sure. So, and then they even go to Unit. No one at Unit can remember what's going on. Which, not to go back too far, start this episode when they're like, we've got trackers in all the Unit members to call them in or whatever else, and just that was ridiculous. But anyway, that's.
Was it more or less ridiculous than them having the top of the Unit building be able to swivel so they can shoot at something else?
I think, yeah. Well, isn't it kind of sad that my brain completely skipped over all of that because I didn't care.
All the bone,
I didn't care. I didn't
creatures, bone beasts.
That was very much. I'm like, we're designing an episode to make sure it can go into cinemas. We're gonna have some like cinematic action or something. I'm like, I just don't care for this at all. Like,
yeah,
it's not really engaging action.
And we should have known something was up when Ncuti was hugging every single member of Unit.
They have a scene just to come in,
hug everybody.
Love a girl we don't know.
Mel.
Robot. Mel, you're back.
Oh, I loved Vex's appearance. Like
burst out of a fucking Bosch like Crash Bandicoot. Like
yes. So the entire time they're in Wish World.
Yeah.
He was hidden inside that box.
Yep. Just comes out and goes, wah! Computing. Yeah, that was a good bit.
Good shit.
Yeah, that was I give points for that, yeah. So then basically the Doctor decides what I can do is reality slightly off because Unit have pointed out to me that the color blue is slightly off. What was else that they said?
No,
a couple
it was
other things.
Teal slightly off. Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah, all these
Bornstein.
Slightly different things that I'm sure the world could live with, but they live for it. And then
one person is missing.
Yeah, Conrad's also Conrad's wish has gone through. Like he's living a happy but
normal life as a
normal life,
bartender / chef.
Yeah.
A small town, and he's been completely forgotten by the wider public.
And Ruby's like, why does that wish continue? Why does he get to be happy? But this little girl that you had is completely forgotten about. This person's missing. So finally, everyone starts to believe. Finally, the doctor turns around and starts believing her. And I took a room of people everywhere to get him to agree. But anyway, so he says, I'm going to fix this. So he gets in a TARDIS, and basically his plan is, I'm going to shoot the TARDIS, whatever, with so much time energy that I'm going to move
regeneration energy.
I'm going to move reality 1.1 to the left, degree to the left, or however that works. Yeah. So it goes in there, starts getting right into all that. Now we get the 13th Doctor that shows up here, appearance of Jodie Whittaker, which you teased before. I very liked it. I'll put it this way. Highly unnecessary. Doesn't really make any sense. Appreciate it nonetheless.
Yes.
That's where I would see that. I enjoyed seeing her there. I thought the dialogue was good. I thought it was backwards and forwards. I really appreciated the Shooty's doctor saying "love you," and then Jodie Whittaker's line just being like, "Oh, I don't really say things like that. Maybe I should say that to Yaz." And then you don't, which is the saddest fucking thing. But I appreciate that because.
But she knows. He says, "Yeah."
That's
the pure reason Russell T Davies wanted to put that moment of the Doctor realizing. The Doctor realizing she used to say it.
Because anyone who watched those several seasons knows that those two were an idol. Like, let's not.
They were in love with each other.
We're not shipping if it's reality. Like, let's just. And they just wouldn't let it happen for whatever reason. Whatever. Well, no, we know the reason. Yeah.
Because.
I don't know. They I just don't think they would let. Like, you're allowed to have the Doctor look and sound gay. As long as he or she isn't actually gay, you know. Pride month. Don't fucking kiss. You know?
Did the Doctor and Rogue kiss? I can't remember.
I don't think they did. They just hugged, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still Anyway. So yeah, have that little conversation. Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor, I don't know, pops out of time, pops back in time, however that works, who cares. Also, says that advises not to do it because of the risks. Something about fucking reality more or something. What was the line? I can't remember. I don't know. But it does warn of a risk to doing what he's about to do.
Yeah. So there's a scene where Belinda's like, oh, you went through my entire time stream and you saved me like several times. Mm-hmm. Was that like a known thing that we knew?
No, I don't think so, right?
No, it's very weird and kind of out of place. Okay. Almost as weird as Kate saying, sometimes you save us all. Sometimes I think we're all your children. Yeah,
that was a weird line. Yeah. Yeah. So he blasts, does the thing, moves reality, wakes up. We're now at Belinda's place. Poppy is back. Poppy is Belinda's daughter. Poppy is no longer a dream baby or whatever we want to call it. Poppy is 100% human as per scan, if we're to believe what we see.
Yes.
And also now Belinda has this memory of she was always talking about the whole reason she had to get home before that certain date was because her mum was leaving. That's when she had to get home to be with Poppy. That was the whole thing.
Because mum was going out.
Yeah, because mum was going out. Yeah. So how do you feel about that? Like we get this one
the rewriting of history.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting companion story, isn't it? Like, because you get one season with this companion, and then by the time that the story's done, it's like this. Ultimately, it's a trip where she didn't mean to go in the first place, and the whole time she's just trying to get home to her child now. You know?
But that wasn't the reason she wanted to go home in the first. I don't know. It's a little confusing. You know?
Or is it because reality is what you make it, Ash?
Yeah, I mean,
like
it could be.
It could be.
But yeah, I really liked this, insane and the Doctor scanning Poppy, realizing no, it doesn't have two heartbeats. It's not. This has been a complete misdirect. It's not related to the Doctor's lineage at all. So and then they say goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Child was cute.
But why was she one of the space people?
I don't know.
Oh no, I guess they pulled her from his memory. And because she was created in the Wish World, then she was brought back into reality. So I guess there's technically two versions. But we already knew there was two versions of Belinda, remember? Because obviously we know there was a version that she played a person last season. So, this whole thing.
Maybe this whole faces come around as this recurring theme. Because then, of course, the Doctor heads into the TARDIS, flies up.
One other key thing before we get to the end. Anita obviously leaves the general manager of the Time Hotel, and she says hi from her boss to the Doctor.
Yeah, do you reckon that's
who's the boss?
I don't know.
Who's running the Time Hotel? Who could have founded the Time Hotel? Because there's no Time Lords, right?
The face of Bo.
Probably someone from Russell T Davies' last seasons of the show. His first run.
Yeah, well.
It's Christopher Eccleston.
Fucking imagine.
Not the Doctor, just Christopher Eccleston.
Just Christopher Eccleston. Yeah. So, obviously, tackling this in two forms. Ncuti's regeneration scene into Billy Piper / someone who looks like Rose Tyler. What do you feel of his regeneration scene? Like everyone's, what do they say? Everyone judges a regeneration scene of like how it matches that character. The whole I don't want to do this alone. It's been such a beautiful time or whatever. Like people always remember the lines, right? They look back on the lines that the Doctors say before they. Everyone remembers David Tennant's one for I don't want to go.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about this regeneration scene? Was you shocked when it happened? Was you shocked when Billy Piper?
I mean, I was definitely surprised that they were doing it because there've been a lot of rumors going around the last couple of weeks about Ncuti leaving the show. A lot of them spreading the rumors that he's leaving not by choice. That he'd been fired because the show is too woke now and the ratings are in the toilet.
Because that's his fault.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't remember his last line. It's been, 5 hours since I've seen it?
So something about being a beautiful day. Yeah, I mean, if you don't remember it now without looking up, I guess it wasn't that is the thing. So,
no.
Yeah.
It's also weird that, he went found the North Star again, Joy, from the Christmas special, again, tying kind of everything in again.
That's why I said he wasn't alone anymore.
Yeah. And then, it's Billy Piper, someone who has been long rumored to be playing the Doctor. Like every single time there's a new
Joy
Doctor.
to the world. Yells out, Joy to the world.
That's right, yeah. That's his last line. Yeah. But I feel like he says something inside the TARDIS that was probably more.
He said, yeah.
Something fitting.
He says, I don't want to do this alone, then goes and opens his door to the North Star out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So,
has she been long rumored?
I mean, every single time there's been a Doctor regeneration, people said, it's going to be Billy Piper. She's like on the betting odds, it's like she's always up there as somebody.
Sorry, I went and found the video on the BBC page of the 1 minute 50 regeneration scene that I've uploaded. Top comment on here is, imagine having the ability to change your whole appearance only for you to change into your ex.
Your ex, but older than you remember them.
Yeah. RTD. Here's another comment. Top comment. RTD. This will be a brand new era. RTD. Here is David Tennant, the Nobles, the Toymaker, Mel, Suket, Omega, the Rani, and Billy Piper as the 16th Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we feel about this? Do you think she is the Doctor? Because technically, there's always this little bit of doubt because there's room for until they officially put out some key art that says she may not be, which they haven't as of recording. I will note, and at the end of the episode, it does just say introducing Billy Piper, and introducing Billy Piper as the 16th Doctor. Or there's always this.
No, they list Ncuti as the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor,
and then say
introducing Billy Piper.
Yeah. So do you think there is a bait and twist here?
No.
Just think that straight up Billy Piper's the 16th Doctor?
Well, I mean, the interesting question is with the bi-generation, like, is it whoever dies first just dies? Because obviously the Rani died, like the Archie Panjabi Rani died. She didn't regenerate. Not that I think she could within the Omega or whatever. So, who knows at this point?
Yeah, I don't know. It's confusing, to be honest.
I suspect, in my mind, obviously, I believe like last week or a couple of weeks ago, we mentioned that it's coming up to the 20th anniversary of the revival of Doctor Who, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next year, I think.
So what if they do like a series of specials of 14 and this version of the Doctor with Rose, and then they do whoever's going to be the proper Doctor, much in the way they had David Tennant's return. Like they do 3 specials again, and then they pass the baton on to whoever's next.
You reckon they're going to take a year off and only do specials thing again?
Maybe. I just can't imagine them doing a whole season of Billy Piper. I can't imagine multiple seasons of Billy Piper as the Doctor.
I'm just trying to see if there's any official. So I saw this Yahoo News article that's like, Piper appeared to replace Gatwa, who leaves Doctor Who after 2 seasons in the science fiction series. As she arrives on screen with the words, "Oh, hello." Piper said, "It's no secret how much I love this show, and I've always said I would love to return to the Who-niverse, as I have some of my best memories there. So to be given the opportunity to step back onto the task one more time was just something I couldn't refuse. But who, how, why, and when? You'll just have to wait and see." Who, how, why, and when? You'll just have to wait and see. I think are the important words there. Shortly after the finale aired, the actress shared a post on Instagram holding a rose with a caption that read, "A rose is a rose is a rose." Fucking hell. Which, I mean...
But again, like, as a new... all these new fans who came in...
They're like, who the fuck is this person?
Yeah. It's like, weird. Why does everybody make it a big deal?
It's just confused. I mean, in general, how do you feel about Billy playing the Doctor in a world where we could have... I mean, honestly, the thing is, if I think about every Doctor of the new generation up until Peter Capaldi, I didn't know who they were. I'd never seen Christopher Eccleston before. I'd never seen David Tennant before. I'd never seen Matt Smith before. You know, I'd actually seen...
You hadn't seen David Eccleston? Christopher Eccleston?
I'd never seen Christopher Eccleston in something before Doctor Who.
What
the hell was he in?
28 Days Later?
Oh, yeah. But
came out 2002.
Yeah, I would have watched him in that, but I wouldn't have... by the time I was watching
wouldn't have remembered him.
I wouldn't have remembered him, to be honest, no. So, like, if I'm thinking about what I'm most
that's fair.
Notable thing, and then, you know, David Tennant and everything. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, how do you feel about just her for the role, and just the fact that we're, you know, again, we had a good pick here, I think, with Ncuti, because it was, although, you know, most people know him for Sex Education, I wouldn't say he was a
known quantity.
Known quantity, you know, like still fit that mold of someone young and fresh and new face and whatever. Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it just feels like odd stunt casting. Like it's like, you know, obviously we're kind of here like, let's continue moving forward. Like, let's tell new stories, new characters, that kind of thing. So to bring someone back, kind of like on the back of, like, this is the second time, like, we get the first woman ever as a doctor and then replace him with one of the previous, like, well-loved doctors. And we get the first black gay doctor replaced by one of the companions, most beloved companions, It's like, it seems like every time we get one step forward, it's like, no, well, I guess 2 steps forward, 1 step back. A little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't like it well, look, I'm open to it. There's nothing against Billy. And I mean, she's a fan favorite companion, I think, for the way she played Rose Tyler. But I don't think that necessarily means that carries through to the way she potentially play the Doctor. But then it's just all these weird, like, if all it does is go down the road of like teaming her up with the 14th Doctor, just so you can have that, like, David Tennant and her on screen
dynamic,
again, even though they're not playing the same doctors. So it's like she's playing a doctor, she's not actually playing Rose Tyler, and then he's not actually even the 10th Doctor. It's just weird, is what I would say. And the complaint was, and look, I'm not going to complete shit on the Russell T Davies stuff because I do think these last 2 seasons have been better than the 3 we got prior to it. But I mean, when Russell T Davies took over, I was like, oh, hopefully it's like, like does what he did in 2005 and it's new, fresh, exciting sort of thing. But if we just go down this like nostalgia train, it's not going to do much for the show long term at all. Now I get what, to your point, anniversary, sure, do a special or whatever, but to make the entire next year or 2 years of the show basically nostalgia baiting, it doesn't build a fan base. It doesn't build new audiences or continue them. So that's
especially when these episodes are on Disney Plus. We don't know if they're going to continue to be on Disney Plus.
Well, they announced that other show will be on Disney Plus next year.
Yes, but all the episodes featuring David Tennant and Billy Piper are not on Disney Plus.
Yeah, so you can't even go watch them if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just easily jump back,
No.
Unless they quickly do a licensing deal, which they should.
This. I think I just need more information. And the problem is we're not going to get it for so long that it's frustrating. So I would sum that up.
Do you want to know about a crazy piece of foreshadowing that I realized during this?
Sure.
Check out Ncuti's the next movie Ncuti's got coming out.
You going to tell me it's got Billy Piper in it?
No.
Please hold. Next movie, it's coming out. Oh, fucking hell. The Roses. Who the hell allowed that to happen? Fucking hell. That's, very good. Before we wrap up, did you watch the trailer for War Between Land and the Sea?
No, I didn't. I didn't realize it was
a thing.
No.
Looks good. I will say this. Everyone check it out afterwards. Look, I think it looks very good. As someone who is I really like Torchwood and stuff. So I like Doctor Who spin-off stuff.
Adjacent stuff,
Adjacent stuff, very much. The only thing is the sea demons or whatever the hell, sea demons or whatever, devils, whatever.
Sea devils, that sounds right.
The devils, who they'd had in the Jodie, I think it was Jodie, right? A couple of years ago, they had an episode, and they still looked like fish fucking people in this. Now in this, it just looks like a person in makeup, which I don't think necessarily looks bad, but I just think it looks so different to how they were shown a couple of years ago, let alone how they were shown in the classic series before they even brought them back a couple of years ago. Just look up a picture. Just type in, I don't know, different. Like it's very clearly an actor compared to a person in prosthetics. This is humanoid, I'm just confused.
Yeah.
I'm confused about the changes. Is my only question.
It's given Shape of Water.
It is very much giving Shape of Water. Yeah. So, but I'm keen for that. Apparently, that's coming potentially early next year. Seems to be they haven't like chucked out a release date and everything for it yet, but it'll basically be about Russell Tovey playing someone who for some reason ends up basically being the
unit person.
Yeah, he's speaking on behalf of the human race against sea devils or whatever. Oh no, it's like going to be 5-6 episodes. I think I'm keen. It looks interesting. So yeah, definitely looks tonally Torchwoody is how it was the vibe I got though. So all right, any other thoughts on the season or anything before we?
I mean, the Kate and the Colonel seem to have gotten together. Good for them.
Good for them. Yeah.
We've been teasing it all season.
Yeah, and they're both in the trailer for that series.
Yeah,
as well. So
I mean, that's what triggered my memory on that. So, yeah, I mean, disappointing that Ncuti time has come to an end. Like, I think I just read 18 episodes.
People have pointed out very short run, and also didn't get to face a single classic.
Didn't face the Daleks, did not face the Cybermen, or didn't face the Master.
Yep.
The first Doctor ever to not face any of them.
Crazy. But also, like it's sort of goes to show that they're not relying on those tricks. But didn't get to face a single what I would call classic monsters, but then also I guess, or even team up or face what would be considered, I guess, like new Who classic. So I'd go something like, I don't know, Sontarans, Weeping Angels, or I don't know, like any of the new, like there's none of those famous ones.
Do you have a favorite episode of his run?
That's a very hard question. No, I'd have to think.
It's probably the bomb episode.
You're going to surprise me
from last season.
I'd have to think about it. I don't know. Save that for ask me again later. All right, they'll do it for Fish Fingers and Custard. I'll say this: so we don't know the future of the show when more Doctor Who's coming back. If a war between whatever the hell I said, the war between land and sea. Is that what I just said? Yeah.
Land and sea, yes.
That should be the next thing. We'll talk about this on here, of course, because it is Doctor Who adjacent. But I presume we would presumably still get a Christmas or New Year's special, but I could not find in any of my Googling any such confirmation of a thing existing. I just would be shocked if that's not a thing. That's just, we shall see how it plays out. Of course, it's only just hit June, so there's still plenty of time to we're 6 months away from a Christmas or a New Year's special, so we have time to figure that out. Nonetheless, it'll be right here on this podcast feed, Fish Fingers and Custard. Of course, you can find our other shows, great news, reviews, features, and fun things over on explosionnetwork.com. And until next week, roses are roses are roses.
Bad Wolf.